Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. When I first became leader of Arcadia Toastmasters, I was very apprehensive to understand whether or not I had the ability to be a leader. I was so apprehensive that I asked Jenny here whether or not I was even qualified to be a leader. And she politely said, "You'll do okay, Owen. You got Elliot and you got Tommy. You'll be just fine." And I believe those words, and I tried my best to be a leader. But inevitably, I made mistakes. I made some minor mistakes, I made some big mistakes. But in reflecting on my mistakes, I had to reflect on the lessons I learned before, on learning how to become a good leader. And one lesson brought me back to a time when I was a volunteer at a food pantry clinic where we went all around San Bernardino County and LA County to feed the homeless and the poor. I saw all sorts of people. I saw prostitutes, gang members, drug addicts, drunkards, domestic violence victims. And they told me the same story of why they became what they became. My husband abused me. I was cheated by the system. My mother didn't love me enough. I came from a dysfunctional family. But there was one gentleman who said something very different. As I was coming one day to drop off food, I saw a man sitting in a chair, very distant, looking in the sky, melancholy, contemplating several things in his life. He struck me as kind of strange and peculiar, but I went on my merry way. But he just kept staring at the sky, and I had to come up and ask him what he was doing and why he was there. And as I was asking him, he turned to me and he gave me a grim smile and said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing well, but I just gotta ask you, like, why are you here? Like, how did you get here? You just seem so different." And then he looked at me and smiled and said, "Well, I'm here because of the mistakes I made. I drank alcohol, wasn't a good father, wasn't a good husband. My kids don't talk to me anymore. My wife left me. And now I have to figure out how to get out of this space. And I'm having trouble doing that." It struck me as very courageous for him to say that. And for the rest of the whole day, I was thinking about his words. And 10 years later, I'm thinking about it now. And what he demonstrated at that moment was 3 principles of leadership that I learned to help me. The 3 principles were that he was accountable for what he did. Second is that he was trying to take responsibility for what he did. And third is that he really empathized with his wife and with his children. And that showed me that he was a leader. He wanted to make use of his life and to try to help others. And that helped me reflect on how I could be a better leader next time. But I reflected even deeper and looked at society by and large to try to figure out, what is leadership? How do I become a leader? And I started reflecting on politics. You know, we have a new president, very controversial figure. Donald Trump is a man who people hate or people love. And people either have the strongest argument against his policies or they defend him to the death. But one thing they don't do is ask, how did he become president? Why is he in office? And I think the answer is that the leaders before did not practice those 3 principles. They said many things about fixing the country, fixing people's lives. But when it came down to it, they didn't do what they said they would do. People felt betrayed, people felt angry, and they wanted someone who could do the job. And they looked at a person like Trump, who was different from all the other politicians, who talked different, looked different, acted different. He was the guy. And he was a guy not only to fix the problem, but to punish the leaders who didn't fix the problem in the first place. And that's how I saw a person like Trump coming, because of poor leadership. And that allowed me to understand what it takes to be a leader, is that you have to be accountable for what you do to the people. You have to take responsibility. And most importantly, you have to empathize with the people. You have to be in tune with their needs, in tune with what they desire, what they want, how they think, in order to be an effective leader. And then it made me reflect further about what it means to be a leader in general of a big country or a big organization. And being a leader has to do with the understanding that each and every person that you're dealing with has value and has worth. Here in America, we have these principles that we learn in school and we memorize for our history exam, the Declaration of Independence. But this thing has real significance. The Declaration of Independence says that all men and women are created equal. And it also says that human rights are self-evident. By God, we are given these rights, not by the state. This is significant because we have to understand that people have dignity. It's not that we give them dignity, it's that they have inherent dignity. And we have to recognize and bring out the best in the people in order for them and us to have a great society. And in leadership and understanding that, we can have a great and harmonious nation. But at times, our leaders forget these principles. They forget to abide by it, and the country goes awry. And that led me to reflect further that we, the people, are the leaders, not necessarily the people in office. We, the people, have to be accountable for each other. We have to be responsible for each other, and we have to empathize with each other. We have to learn what it takes to make this place better. We have to put our differences aside and work together for the common good. We have to inspire our leaders to do better because we, the leaders, tell them how to improve and how to get better. And then it made me reflect further that no, it's not just being an American that makes you a leader, but we have to understand that we're cosmopolitans. We're citizens of the world. We are looking out for the rights and liberties of people all over the world. We're not just looking out for Americans. We have to look out for other people. We have to be accountable to a person who comes from China or Taiwan, looking to have a better life for themselves, looking to strive to do greatness. We have to look out for those people to make sure that they have their rights protected. We have to look out for the Peruvian, the Mexican, the Asian, to ensure that we have a safe and harmonious world. Because in looking out for them, we can look out for each other and look out for ourselves. Because if their rights are taken away, and if people do not recognize their dignity, then I'm next. And my dignity and my rights will be taken away. So in looking at the whole picture, I see that leadership has to do with this understanding that the whole world, all us human beings are connected together. We're all in this together. And therefore, we all have to be accountable for one another. And we all have to help one another grow and be great and try to make this world a better place for our children. So as I concluded my reflection a couple weeks ago, I thought about that man. And I thought about what he said. And that simple statement that he made led me to reflect on the principles of leadership from the macro perspective. And it led me to understand that we, the people, all of us, have to look out for one another. We have to be selfish about looking at other people's rights as if it's our own rights. If another person is being violated, I'm being violated. And that is what it means to become a leader. Thank you.